Your chatbot demo went great. Now scale it to 1 million conversations across 6 systems. That's where it gets real. Welcome to the Explainer. So let's dive right in, because scaling an AI chatbot for an enterprise, well, it's an entirely different beast than just tossing a basic FAQ bot onto a website. Today, we're unpacking the reality of enterprise AI chatbots in 2026 and what actually happens when these systems have to hold up under massive load across multiple departments and with zero room for error.
Look, it is a harsh reality. A basic chatbot can answer simple questions perfectly in a tightly controlled demo. It looks like magic, right? But the enterprise is where those simple projects just shatter. At scale, the hard part actually isn't answering the easy queries. It's literally everything surrounding them. It's integrating deeply with your CRM, syncing perfectly with ticketing systems, and somehow navigating a maze of legal and compliance rules without a single AI hallucination.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the demo reality check, then look at what exactly changes at scale. After that, we'll break down the 3-tier escalation path, explore why so many enterprise projects fail, and wrap up with a practical enterprise AI checklist. Part 1. The demo reality check. We're looking at the contained, safe environment versus the absolute chaos of enterprise reality. The difference here is basically night and day. For a smaller business, a bot just needs basic FAQ accuracy, maybe one integration, and you mostly just set it and forget it. But the enterprise reality, it's a totally different landscape. You're suddenly dealing with intense governance and policy enforcement. You need deep, real-time integrations into massive systems like Salesforce or SAP, and you absolutely need observability and model drift management, because at this volume, products and policies are changing constantly. Section 2. What changes at scale? The 5 major shifts when you move to enterprise volumes. So what actually changes? Well, 5 things: governance, escalation, security, observability, and reliability across systems. In a small demo, these are nice to haves. In production, they are absolutely mandatory. If you try to scale up without these 5 pillars, the whole deployment is going to collapse under the load. It literally becomes a liability instead of an asset. Let's zoom in on governance first. It really all comes down to control. Who actually decides what the chatbot is allowed to say? Who approves the knowledge updates? Without strict guardrails, loosely connected bots are incredibly risky. You need approval workflows and version control built in from day one. At enterprise scale, it's actually much less about optimizing for the smartest answer and much more about strictly controlling what the AI is legally allowed to do. And, right alongside governance is security. Enterprise bots touch incredibly sensitive stuff: healthcare records, financial data, deep customer histories. You cannot just bolt security on right before launch. It has to be part of the architecture from the ground up. We're talking end-to-end encryption, rigorous audit trails so you know exactly who accessed what, and strict role-based access so the bot never accidentally hands over private data. Moving to Section 3, the 3-tier escalation path, designing the handoff seams. This breakdown is super interesting because it visually proves bots shouldn't handle everything. The architecture that actually survives enterprise load is a 3-tier model. You've got your Tier 1 AI chatbot handling about 80% of those structured, high-volume queries. Then, for the tricky stuff, it hands off to a Tier 2 AI agent that handles about 15% of the volume, doing complex, multi-step reasoning across systems. And finally, the last 5% escalates to a human for judgment calls and highly sensitive exceptions. Now, at a small scale, a bot can just say, "Hey, please contact support," and that's fine. At enterprise scale, no way. That's a recipe for angry customers. Escalation has to be highly intelligent. The bot needs to know exactly when to tap out, exactly which human team to route to, and it needs to pass along the entire context of the conversation. Most enterprise deployments actually break down right at these handoff points. Section 4. Why enterprise projects fail. The breaking points of conversational AI. You might be wondering, why do so many of these massive projects miss the mark? Well, most break down at those integration seams we just talked about, or because they lack continuous monitoring. Teams will test the perfect demo, but not the messy, chaotic reality of actual customer journeys. They connect tools with basic webhooks instead of real-time data syncs. And crucially, they skip observability. Look, the day after you launch, you're going to have thousands of conversations. If you don't have dashboards catching missed intents right away, your bot will just go stale. There's a great quote that frames this perfectly. A chatbot should not be judged only by how many conversations it handles. It should be judged by how many issues it resolves correctly, safely, and consistently.
Too many leaders get obsessed with ticket deflection. But honestly, deflection is just a vanity metric if the customer is giving up in total frustration. True enterprise value is about actual, safe resolution. Section 5. Your Enterprise AI Checklist. How to evaluate platforms for actual scale. Okay, let's get practical. When you're evaluating platforms, this is your checklist. You need enterprise-grade NLP that actually understands context, not just keywords. You want flexibility with your large language models. You absolutely need secure out-of-the-box integrations for your core systems, robust audit logs, that smart three-tier escalation we discussed, and deep conversational analytics. Oh, and a unified customer profile layer so every interaction shares the same context. This is what separates genuine enterprise platforms from scaled-up SMB toys. And here is the golden rule of enterprise procurement. Never, ever take an enterprise-grade label on a marketing website on faith. Published lists can lag behind reality. Always ask for the actual documentation. Verify those exact certifications, whether it's SOC 2, ISO 27001, or HIPAA, directly with the vendor's compliance team. So that brings us to our final thought. True scale requires so much more than just a chat window. Are you evaluating a platform that actually has AI agents, workflow automation, monitoring, and escalation built directly into the system, like SuperMia? That's exactly what built-for-scale systems are designed to do. So what I really want you to take away from this explainer is this. As you move forward, look past the shiny demo. Bring your absolute hardest scale, governance, and security questions to the table. Is your AI truly built for the chaotic reality of your enterprise?